Thank you for being here today. My name is Bobby Lehew. I'm the Chief Content Officer at commonsku, and really glad you carved a little time out of your afternoon. I know it's busy. You're probably putting out fires and trying to keep up with in-hand dates and all of those kinds of things that you do in your business. So thanks for joining us today. If you're brand new to commonsku, I am our Chief Content Officer. I was a former distributor for 25 years. I was the CEO of a company who focused on company stores and shops. So that's my background. But today we're going to talk about how to just from clarity, from chaos to clarity, how to manage your business and some of the best things that Ethan has found that has helped him not only land clients, but also just produce business a lot easier and with more sanity. If you're new to commonsku, we're going to have some folks here that just showed up that are customers and they wanted to tune in, but we also have folks that are brand new to commonsku. commonsku powers over 800 distributor companies that powers 1.8 billion in network volume, 100 plus supplier partners. And of course, our MO is that we make your life easier, from customer communications to order entry to presentations. But we're going to get into all of that in a minute. I'm going to take a breath and ask you to submit a question or comment in the chat. Feel free. If you got a question today for Ethan about how he's growing his business, about what his best favorite features are, anything like that, anything goes, throw a question in the chat. Ethan will be happy to answer it. But first, let's start with a poll. How are your sales year to date compared to 2024? Are they up? Are they down? Are they about the same? What would you say? Year to date, we've got January and February. How's that looking for you? See what that poll result says. All right. 50%, about 50% up, 50% about the same. It's nice to see that no one actually said the business was down. That's really cool. All right. One more poll. The poll number 2 is, how many folks are on your team? Is it just you? Is it 2 to 10? Is it 10 plus? We're just sort of getting a feel for who's with us today. Curious how many, and you can include people that you're going to be adding too. Go ahead with the answers there, Paulina. All right, 2 to 10, 10 plus. Very good. Well, we're so glad you decided to spend time out of your day with us. I want to welcome on screen Ethan Dowie from Indigo Promotions. Ethan's the CEO of Indigo. Hi, Ethan. Good to see you, man. Out of New York City.
What's going on, Bobby? How are you, man?
I love this intro of you. Customer obsessed entrepreneur. You have customers like Google, MAC Cosmetics, Zappos, Bloomberg, Boston Beer, and Vox Media. And you are redefining what a modern merch pro looks like. And what's funny is that Ethan and I had an interview, like you were what, 60 days into this business, Ethan, when you
It
and I
had to
got
have
on.
been like maybe 3 months, I would say.
That's crazy, because now look at these clients. I'm so proud of you, man. Like Google, Mac, all these great clients that you have. We were talking about another project earlier. We won't mention by name, but a project you're working on right now that's super hot, and really proud of you. How are you feeling?
I appreciate it, Bobby. It's kind of cool. I mean, I definitely like to look back as the years go on and just be like, wow, like I definitely leveled up from here to there. And when I think back 5 years, I barely knew anything. Like I can't believe I even had the courage to reach out to you and say, like, I'm trying to build this. But now we're in a much better place, and we're definitely tracking along for sure.
So in a much better place. You've hit that you've crossed that 7-figure threshold in sales.
Absolutely.
And I remember when we first had our conversation, like you were literally working out a supply closet.
Yeah.
Things have changed. And things have changed. I'm so glad to see this, man. Let's talk a little bit about client focus and kind of your business. So for those that are tuning in, we're going to talk a little bit about Ethan's business. We're going to talk about the tools that he uses in commonsku to power his business, things that he's done to land clients. And then finally, we're going to wrap up with some of Ethan's lessons for you as an entrepreneur, as a leader in your business, as a salesperson. But let's talk about focus, Ethan. We know most of us, when we get in this business, we start working with everybody. Anyone that's going to interested in buying promo, will sell to anybody. But then we start all refining our client base. We start to learn, this is who we want to work with. This is who we don't want to work with. How about you? What did you learn about client focus? How'd that refinement happen for you?
I kind of look at that as almost like a rite of passage. And I feel like when it's your first time in this industry, you almost have to be that guy or that
Yeah.
girl that's saying yes to everything. I'll take that project. I'll do this. Yeah, we could do one piece. And it's almost like that's
Right.
great in the beginning, and you might have to do it. And I definitely did it all the time, taking projects that I shouldn't have. But
Yeah.
I feel like as the years went on, we just got so much better at knowing who we want to work with and almost refusing to work with people that kind of were outside of that range. That's something that has really helped me because I feel like it's allowed me to see what the true priorities are in my business and then just kind of copy paste everything I'm doing into the next client instead of taking on all these crazy projects.
Yeah, yeah. You've also grown your team since then. So you've grown from just, just you basically hustling and getting projects done. Now you have more people on your team. Can you tell us a little about your team? Are you set up by salespeople per account? How do you manage your structure?
So this is a nod to comics as well because I wasn't sure exactly how to build out my whole team. Before I went to SKUCon the first time, I met a guy named Brian Gill from Thumbprint, and he really helped me rethink my entire structure. And now everything I do is almost at the base of, okay, we need to have enough people to actually handle the day-to-day work, such as the anything considered client success. So for me, I really have a structure that allows us to take in a lot of sales, but then also being able to constantly handle the customer service on that account. So we have a few customer service reps right now. I have a VP of sales that works side by side with me on a lot of our larger scale projects. And
Yeah.
then I also have an assistant that is basically like my right-hand man to help me 24/7.
Yeah. What have you learned about yourself managing this fast growing business? In other words, what would you sort of tell Ethan Dowie in that supply closet to encourage him to do differently now that you sort of have really gained this great traction?
I think it all comes back to priorities, and I think it's not what type of stuff you say yes to, it's what you say no to. Because throughout my
Mm,
day and throughout everybody's day, there's so many things that I find myself doing, even now, that I just shouldn't be doing. And it's when you have a way of saying no to more things, and you really have in your mind, like, how many things did I say no to today? I got that from Steve Jobs, and I think it's a legendary quote because all of a sudden your focus is just next level. And then you're working on things that are more of a priority, and it allows you to grow properly because you're working on the correct things. So that's
yeah.
something that I would tell my younger self for sure, just to always make sure you're working on the priorities.
Yeah, especially in this business where it's really easy to get bogged down in whether it's product research or chasing the wrong type of client or something like that. It's so easy in this business to
So
do
many
that.
rabbit holes constantly. I still to this day I catch myself going down when I'm
Yeah,
like, stop, gotta stop, let me get out of
yeah,
here.
priorities. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the platform. How has commonsku sort of enabled this growth? I know this has been a big part of your story. We're very thankful, and we're also very proud of the fact that the average distributor grows to 20% or more. How's that helped you with growth?
Yeah, I'm a bit of a rare case, I feel like, and I've told the story many times, but for me, I didn't have any other system that I was on before commonsku. I was using Google Docs to run my business for
Right.
presentations, QuickBooks to send POs, and like it sounds crazy. So I almost went from the Stone Age to like futuristic 2.0. But for me, it's everything because now that it took me about 4 to 6 months, I would say myself, to learn really like how to use commonsku like on a high level. And now anyone I bring onto my team, it's so easy to teach them and show them this is how you do everything. They have every type of learning you could possibly have. And it's so much easier just to copy paste what I want to do with commonsku and translate that to what my team needs to do with commonsku as well. And it just
Mm.
allows us to grow with a lot less friction because we have a center point that's almost like our North Star for doing all of our day-to-day tasks.
Yeah, I love that. You said that you have presentations have won so many clients for you. For those that might be new to the platform, how has presentations? You wouldn't think, presentations would be the crystal clear winner here, but it is for you. Tell us a little bit about how that's worked.
Yeah, this is by far my favorite feature on commonsku. I feel like for myself, this is where we're allowed to show and leverage our expertise because it allows you to there's so much information you can put here that
Mm,
only a promo pro would know how to do it properly and know what we're showing to the client, and it allows us to go above and beyond, which to me is kind of like one of our core values, to constantly be over delivering, show exactly what the client wants and then more. And this is really how we've been able to do that because no matter what, we give you a bunch of options, and it's ones that come off looking futuristic and high res. Every picture is there, mock-ups are there, whatever you could think of, we'll have there. And it really has won us so many different clients, and we leverage it 24/7.
You said that this has been a big part of your story and it's really helped you level up. Do you think it's helped land these clients? I mean, you can't work with clients like Google and some of these brands without having some level of sophistication.
No, because it shows them like where you're at, I feel like it
Yeah.
when we send a presentation over, we're ruthless about it, and ruthless about making kind of like little mistakes on it and errors and just making sure that everything looks good, because this is communicating to the client without words exactly what level we're at as a distributor.
Yeah,
So
that's
when
great.
when we send that over, it allows us to bat outside of our range. That's
Hmm.
why early on, when I had zero clients or five clients or 10 clients, this made me look like I had more than that and like I was an expert when I wasn't. And
Yeah.
I leverage, the heck out of that early on, and we continue to this day. And we can constantly bat outside of our range or our normal range.
We won't drop names, but the client he was talking about just before getting on today, it's one of those. It's like, wow, great client opportunity. All right. So we talked about the client side. Let's talk a little bit about production side. Because if you've worked in the platform, then you know that this is where some of the real magic happens because of the connected workflow. The production part and the production page itself has become a core part of your operating system. How does this keep you and your team on track? For those that are like brand new and they're like, hey, I just came to check out commonsku and see what's up. How would you explain that this has helped you and your team keep on track?
I would suggest this be one of the first thing that anyone knows who's not on commonsku. For me, this has been so important for all of us to keep everybody in the loop. I think anyone in this industry that's been in it for more than a year can already tell that one issue that always comes up is just that handoff. It's just when one person's working on a project in an account, it's so difficult to explain everything to somebody else, and taking all
Yeah.
of that info, chunking it down and being like, here's the project. Well, the production page is so important for us because when we're doing things properly and we have our production page report, which for my team is every Monday, we're all on the call and we're basically
Mm,
breaking down every project to each team member. It sounds crazy, it sounds unscalable. This allows us to keep everybody in the loop of 100 plus projects. And right now, when I'm doing this interview, my team can easily access this and really review all of the notes from all of our meetings on the production page and understand what project is going on and what's happening with it and almost why. So
yeah.
it's been crucial to keeping mistakes down and preventing ones from coming up.
We've even found how this scales at such a large organization too, even larger in the sense that there's a company I was talking to this week. They have 250 employees in their print facility, and in their promo division, they have 25 employees. And she was saying that all sales reps should be very familiar with the production page because often, even when you get bigger, some folks might relegate production team to the production, but sales reps can save their team members time. It saves everybody an email when you say,
Absolutely.
hey, where's that project at? Or do you know anything about this? And it's all right there.
And I mean, and it kind of ties in with the project portal too, or the client portal and project portal as well, because
Yeah.
it's just everything is updated. I think so many times it's tough when clients are like, "Where's this? Where's that?" It's right here. You check your project portal, check your client portal, etc.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There was something else you mentioned, the shipping feature. It's funny because when you said this, you like lit up. I was like, "Hey, what's a feature you love, Ethan?" You were like, "The shipping feature." Tell us how this has really helped save your peace of mind.
I don't know if anyone has been affected more than you guys adding this in. This has been fantastic. And I think it's just for me, I hate little things that keep me and my team busy. And
Yeah,
when we would send tracking to a client, we would hyperlink it to FedEx or UPS. And we were basically doing the work of what this does now, but it allows us just to put in one name, one email, send it off. Everyone sends it to me on my team. I'll send it to my rep, and it just again it keeps everybody in the loop and it saves us time. That's
yeah,
why it's so efficient, and that's why it's so effective for my team and I.
yeah. It keeps you out of email hell. That's for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Client portals. How's portals really helped you in your business?
I love it, and I think it's just some things are core at what we do and some things are icing. I feel like it's just that's icing, like
Mm,
in the realization that my clients have, because a lot of it it's almost like they train themselves on it. I don't really like having this detailed onboarding process where I explain all this,
yeah,
because the stuff is simple enough for my client to say, what's that link? Click, they go into it, and then they can really see exactly why we're next level and a good distributor, because they're seeing all of this high tech technology that's actually easy to use and really self explanatory as well.
I love that. It seems like this is giving you a lot of peace of mind as a leader in your organization. I mean, it's really helped give you peace of mind. Let's talk a little bit about one of our favorite subjects that you and I love talking about, and that's strategy. We have to bring this up again because for a practical reason, because problem solving is such a critical skill. And Ethan and I were sort of laughing a little bit because when Ethan joined me on the first episode of the SKUcast that we did together, we talked about strategy games because he's a huge strategy. And the reason why I nerded out with him on this topic is because I think that some of the best folks in the business are strategic thinkers. And this industry is, so people are so surprised how complex it is. So let's bring Corridor into the room. If those that are not familiar with the board game Corridor, it's a strategy game that has sold over 1 million sets. It's highly regarded as a brilliant strategic game. But I want to try and bridge this. All right, see if I can do this. In our business, you run into multiple obstacles all the time, right? You get an order across the finish line from in-hand dates to ideation to solving a customer problem, whether it's product or inventory shortages, missing info or POs. It's a lot like getting across the corridor board. Am I wrong?
I think the two tie together so well. And you could use the example of any strategy game, but Corridor in particular, I'm gonna get really nerdy and geeky for all you out
Okay.
there right now. But it's just amazing because I think of it like a chess match in a way. And it's
Yeah.
almost like it's such a simple concept. Get across the other side. For merch, make the merchandise right, do whatever they say. But then all of a sudden, there's all these intricate little details that come up that prevent you from getting across or prevent you from getting the merch delivered. And I feel
Yeah.
like any mistake I make in the game, there's a way for me to work out of it. And I relate the same exact mindset to merch in general. Whatever happens, I'm thinking, okay, this went south. I didn't see it coming. I didn't foresee this, but we have to work out of it right now. So it's almost like in a way it relates and it's just this fun process of like finding a way to fix what you just did by accident. And that's why I just love it because I feel like the two tie together so well.
That's awesome. See, we did it.
Yeah.
We knew we wanted to bring this into the conversation today.
Good teamwork.
If there are any questions for Ethan, you can throw them in the chat. You can throw them in the Q&A. We'll be happy to answer those for you as well. Let's do one more poll, Paulina, before we take our final question here with Ethan. Let's do one more poll and kind of see where folks are at. The poll we're going to do is what features are most important to you in a promo industry software application? Are they more order for you right now? Let's put it that way. For you right now, is it the order entry side of things or is it the client facing side of things? Where do you see yourself needing more help in your business today? Order entry, client facing? I didn't give you both because I wanted to force you to make a decision. Let's see. Client facing, very interesting. Almost 70% client facing. That's fascinating. A lot of studies have come out how B2B, all of these kind of details that we spend with B2B buyers, like checking on inventory or when's that order going to come in? That's why the portals are so important. We're noticing the B2B has little tolerance for junking up their email with things like that. All right. Ethan, the last question for you. I want to know what you have been reading lately. What's inspired you? What have you been processing as a professional, promo professional, and as a leader that's really helped you level up your game?
Well, one book that I finished this a while ago, but it changed Indigo forever. It's called Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell.
Mm,
And this book was so powerful that it prompted me to reach out to the author with a paragraph of how it helped me. I reread it 3 times. And
wow.
I also joined the coaching program of the author that he has for entrepreneurs because it was that good and it leveled me up that much. And
Mm.
that to me, that's what running a business is, making sure that the founder's time is only working on the most important assets of the business and working on stuff that's actually going to generate the most growth. So I'm not fully there yet, but just having a book like that prevents you from doing stuff you shouldn't be doing, it's huge. And that's one of the best books I have ever read. And it has truly just changed the landscape of Indigo as a whole.
I cannot think of leaving on a stronger note than that, my friend. Thank you for doing this with us today, Ethan. It's always a joy to chat with you. It's really fun to catch up with you after you've hit the 7 figures level. And guess what? We're going to have to do again when we're crossing that 10 million threshold. How's that?
I love it. That sounds like a
All
plan.
right. All right.
Thank you
If
for
you're,
having me. I
yeah, you
appreciate
bet,
it.
Ethan, you bet. And if you're brand new and you're like, hey, I want to know about commonsku now, reach out to us at commonsku.com/demo. And hey, if you don't know about this, even if you are on commonsku and you don't know about our newsletter called The Backpack, we release a newsletter called The Backpack on the first and third Friday of each month. And we encourage you to check it out. Go to commonsku.com/blog. But again, Ethan, my friend, it's been a joy, and I wish you the best. Good luck with that project you're knocking out here today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. See you. Take care, everyone.